Mr. President, Mrs. Reagan, ladies and gentlemen, I've been asked to come out here and talk about Frank Sinatra. Well, I've known Frank for 40-some-odd years, so I guess I do know a lot about him. But maybe there's a lot I don't know about him, too. We met in New York City. I'll start at the beginning. And a mutual acquaintance took me backstage to hear Frank sing. You couldn't get in the front because it was mass hysteria. And I was curious about this new kid on the block, this phenomenon I'd heard about. And I stood in the wings in the dark and I saw him come on, and my first thought was, he just looks awful. He was a skinny runt and nothing was happening, and then he opened his mouth. And I'll never forget that moment. I was overwhelmed. I was really taken aback by this talent. We became fast friends and remained so. Eventually, we got to the West Coast, and one day, Joe Pasternak of MGM asked us if we'd do a movie musical. We were delighted, and we said yes. And now, Frank had never danced a step in his life. Well, maybe a waltz with his mother on her birthday, I don't know, but I doubt it. He had never bothered about left foot, right foot. But he was very athletic, and of course, he had impeccable timing and great rhythm, and the results were amazingly good in the trade papers when the picture came out. They had those kinds of headlines that you'd see, crooner clicks with slick terping and things like that. And we were all very proud of Frank because no one had ever trained that hard that I had ever met. It was like he was going into a championship heavyweight bout, and at his weight, that was something. At that time, yes. We worked so hard, and we had so much fun. And years later, as I reflect back on this, I'm thinking about something extra, something that perhaps has contributed to the many years of successes and achievements that Frank has had, and the joy he's given us with his singing. And I think perhaps a lot of it's attributable to the sense of fun that he's always carried with him. Now, who can analyze talent? I really don't know, but I think that's a good guess. Anyway, keep up that spirit of fun, Frank, and God bless.
When I was 17, it was a very good year.
He was born a short subway ride from Manhattan in Hoboken, New Jersey. Francis Albert Sinatra, firstborn son of Italian immigrant parents.
Just one more.
He listened to Rudy Vallée and Bing Crosby records, and by 13 knew he would be a singer. Dropped out of high school, worked as a copy boy. His father hoped he'd be a reporter, but Frank left to go singing. He said, when I let Pop down, I went through the toughest period in my life. He'd perform at local bands anytime, anywhere. He didn't care as long as he could sing. In 1939, the young Harry James picked him up and signed him for $75 a week. Tommy Dorsey hired him away in 1940, giving his career a big boost.
It's the last call for love. Time to say fare thee well.
Dorsey's breath control and phrasing intrigued him. With exercise and practice, he thought he could use his voice the same way. A smoother sound began to emerge, a wistfulness, a sure sense of phrasing. He decided to strike out on his own. Now, it was rare to sing without a name band, but Frank soon began to attract wider notice and more fans.
5 minutes more.
The ranks of Bobby Soxers began to swell and to swoon. On October 12, 1944, the dam burst. Before dawn, thousands queued up. Time magazine said, "Not since Valentino has American womanhood made such unabashed love to an entertainer."
Kiss me once. Kiss me once again. It's been a long, long time.
The movies wanted him too.
What a time we had tonight.
In his first major film, Frank learned to be a song and dance man.
I met her dancing to
In the late 40s, Frank set himself a grueling pace.
I held her tight
It
and
finally
danced
caught up
around
with
the
him.
clock.
One night, at the second show at the Copa, he opened his mouth, then nothing came out. His agent and record company dropped him. He said, "I sat by a phone that didn't ring. My only collateral was a dream, to play Maggio and From Here to Eternity."
You hit me. Yeah, and I'm about to do it again, too. Boy, you dirty wop.
Frank astounded everyone with his powerful performance.
I done it, Prue. I escaped just like I said. Just like I figured. In the back of a truck on the top. They rode me right out. Just like I figured.
He took home an Oscar that year. As an actor, he was in demand. From Guys and Dolls to The Man with the Golden Arm. But what he wanted most was to sing again. The Bobby Soxers were gone. He started the slow climb back. Like a true artist, he reached deep inside himself. With discipline and hard work, found the source of his strength. His voice, a richer instrument. He was an assured master of his craft.
I've got you under my skin. If you are among the very young at heart, all the way, strangers in the night, exchanging glances, start spreading the news.
He worked with the best, from the classics to jazz. They realized they were dealing with a consummate artist. He is a giant, one of them said. There's not the remotest possibility he will have a successor.
To think I did all that. And
Wherever he goes, on and off stage, he touches his audience. Whether it's kids everywhere or the most sophisticated nightclub patrons, he always gives them something special. He gives them himself.
For one is a man, what has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels, and not the words of one who kneels. The record shows I took the blows and did it my way.
Ladies and gentlemen, Perry Como.
Mr. President, Mrs. Reagan, and honorees, I'd like to say it's been a few years since my friend started out as a boy singer with the bands in Hoboken. I'm very pleased that you have chosen to honor him tonight. I really am. There's already a lot been said about his artistry, but something that he seldom talks about, which is his generosity. He's always been there when needed, raising funds to help all kinds of people. There's one group of which he's particularly fond, children. And I brought some with me tonight who will help me sing a song that expresses Frank today and always. Fairy tales can come true, it can happen to you.
If you're young at heart.
If you're young at heart. And it's hard, you will find, to be narrow of mind.
If you're young at heart.
You can go to extremes with impossible schemes. You can laugh at your dreams, fall apart at the seams.
And life is more exciting with each passing day. And love is either in your heart or on the way.
Don't you know that it's worth every treasure on earth to be young at heart?
To be young at heart.
And as rich as you are, it's much better by far to be young at heart.
To be young at heart.
And if you should survive to 105, think of all you derive out of being alive.
And here's the best part. You are the best part.
If
You are among the very young at heart.
am I keeping you up?
The song that you sing will go ring-a-ding-ding.
If you're young at heart.
If you're young at heart, maybe luck is your game. You're ahead of the game.
If you're young at heart.
If you're young at heart.
Though you once were the rage on the Paramount stage, you still earn quite a wage, though you're past middle age.
Oh, you got the whole part.
Down to the
Fine art.
And Frank, you'll always be the very young.
The very